everybody. It's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. This week, I went to the movies, and while I was tempted to see Zootopia 2 in 3D, because, you know, I love my 3D movies, I barely remember the first one. I was not, like, super enthusiastic to see this one. So instead, I went and saw Hamnet. Which I had heard wonderful things about, and I decided I'd check it out. Because I had seen the trailer and was like, okay, whatever. But then I saw like an extended trailer that explained more of the plot, and it made me like misty. And I'm like, oh, okay. This now I'm sold, and now I kind of want to see it. Knowing full well that, you know, it's tragedy and I'm going to be crying and stuff. But it's really well done. It's just beautifully shot. It is not... Paul Mescal is good, but it's not about him. It is all about Jessie Buckley, and she is fantastic in this movie. And they should just give her the Oscar right now. She's incredible. If she doesn't win, I'm going to be really surprised. Basically, it's about... It's based on a book. It's about like the creation of Hamlet, the play, and it's about William Shakespeare and his wife and their children, and they lose one of them, and that tragedy nearly destroys the entire family. So like halfway through, I'm crying. It's very sad and upsetting, and she's just amazing, and then it's like really uncomfortable for the back end, but then it's like this very cathartic ending, and it's just like tears. Very good. Bit long, but I don't know what you could cut, because you do kind of need to set everything up, and you need all of that to make the ending really land as strongly as it does. But it's not boring. It's long, but it's not boring. It's what I would call deliberately paced. But it's just really well done. So I recommend that. And it's going to get some Oscars, I suspect. As for games, I haven't played a whole lot of Disney Dreamlight Valley. I did finish Cogsworth's final friendship quest. It was a bit of a pain in the ass with the whole election thing and having to do lots of busy work with lots of different characters. But I did eventually finish it, so he's done. And his final gift was this very snazzy butler outfit, which does not actually go with the hat. I thought it would go with the hat that he gives you like halfway through on like the 5th friendship quest, but it totally does not go. So I don't know what you're supposed to wear that hat with. But I haven't started anything else because there's not any new DLC yet. I do recall there was supposed to be a new free DLC, but right now it's all about Wish Blossom Ranch, which is the new paid DLC, which I'm not going to get, even though I would love to have Snow White. I'm not getting that because A, I don't care about horses, B, I never bought the second paid DLC, and C, I still haven't finished the first paid DLC, because I foolishly bought that, and then they keep throwing free DLC at you with more to do, and the star paths and everything, and all these activities, and I'm just like, I haven't been able to focus on the paid DLC because I don't want to play it that much. I just want to play a little bit every day. So I have been able to kind of, I don't know when they're going to drop the new free DLC. I'm assuming probably next week, given my luck. But right now, I can just play a little bit of Disney, which is good because Infinity Nikki had their big update, the 2.0 update, where you can explore Italand finally. It's a whole new region to explore, and it's like kind of practically a whole new game in a way. Also, but first, there's a new theme tune, and it is sung by Idina Menzel for some reason. I don't know why. I assume that these developers they've got a lot of cash to throw around, and they were just like, here, famous Broadway actress and Tony winner, here is a lot of money so we can have the star of Wicked sing our theme tune, our new theme tune for Infinity Nikki. And whatever, I haven't listened to the whole thing. I just listened to some of it while it's downloading the new update. But that it's so random. but I guess they have money to throw around. But basically, you explore this new region, and you wake up among the shroomlings, who are adorable. I love them so much. I want little toys of them. And then basically there's like these humans who are kind of like oppressing the shroomlings, because the shroomlings worship the mother shroom tree, and they're like, no, you shouldn't do that. The mother shroom is sick because you're not worshiping our god, the Titan King, and you should worship the Titan King. And the shroomlings are all like, okay, I guess we'll do that if it'll help our god. And clearly the humans are like horrible and anti-nature, and it's going to be a whole boudel, and you're going to fix it. So that, I look forward to that. But of course, again, Nikki is like, they're all like, oh, you're the saintess, you're the exalted saintess, your excellency, and they all treat you like you're like royalty. And Nikki and Momo are like, okay, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about, but all right. Because they can never just have Nikki go someplace and have them go, who are you, Nikki? Oh, can you help us? And sure, okay, I'll help you. It's always like, oh, you're this ancient legend come to life. And Nikki's like, okay, I guess. Sure, why not? Because that's just the trope that they like to do in this game. But there's all new, like you get this new outfit. It's very Assassin's Creed. It's very cool. That actually took a minute to craft because you need materials from Itzaland, and I hadn't really been collecting too much yet. I've been collecting whatever I stumble across, but I didn't have quite enough, so I had to kind of run around and collect a bunch more of one particular thing, and then I was able to craft the outfit. But you get a bow and arrow, so instead of blasting your purifying power, you now shoot a purifying arrow. And I mentioned previously in previous episode that they were also going to introduce a new control scheme, and I was like, please no, because your control schemes are terrible. Because it's originally a touchscreen game that they're now doing on a controller, so they are not great with the controller buttons and everything. So I was like, no, we're not switching the control scheme. But then it's like, it was really awkward because to shoot the bow, you had to push a button and aim with the right joystick, and the button is on the right hand side, and it was really like, you can't press three things with your thumb. It's like, no. So I found it super awkward, and I was like, okay, this is really bad, and with the enemies charging at you, like, you need to be quicker. So I was like, let me try this new control scheme. So I tried the new control scheme, and it makes shooting your bow so much easier. You just press the trigger, you aim with the right. It's just like a regular shooter game where you would press the L left trigger, aim with the right, and then release the trigger, and it fires the arrow. Super easy. But then it has to readdress, changing your outfits to a different button. But then that kind of makes that a little more complicated and annoying. And it also changes a couple other buttons for some reason. I don't know why. But I think you might be able to go in and like customize your controls. But then I'm like, I will forget what I have assigned to what buttons. So let's not. It's already complicated enough. Let's not make it worse. So yeah, I'm using the new control scheme. Then there's this other outfit that you get where it's like animal skins and stuff, and that one I crafted into that one. I didn't have to search for anything. I already had all the materials for that one. And then that allows you to grow big so that you can like stomp around and travel faster, and you can also like roar and take out these like giant beasts that terrorize the shroomlings occasionally. And then there's a couple other outfits. One of them is definitely got a grappling hook, because that's in the opening cinematic when the game starts. She's swinging on a grappling hook, so I don't know what the other one does though. But there's clearly at least like two more outfits. So it's very interesting because it's like this whole new region to explore, but it's not just a new region to explore. They've added all these new outfits with these new abilities, and there's all this new stuff to do. So it's almost like a sequel to the original Infinity Nikki game. So it's kind of crazy. It's a lot of the same stuff, but with like different ability outfits. So you're doing different things, and it's kind of fun. So I've been spending a lot of time. It dropped on like Tuesday, but it didn't actually drop until like almost midnight or whatever. And I was like, well, I'll play it on Wednesday, no problem. But then Wednesday I had to like bake a pie after work and for Thanksgiving. So I literally had like 20 minutes to start it and couldn't really get into it until after Thanksgiving. and I play a bunch on Friday and Saturday. But I'm still enjoying this game, and it's so funny because I have been playing this game. I've been playing Infinity Nikki for hundreds of hours. I don't actually know the total, but it's at least like 300 and change, probably. And like, I still have not spent a single penny on it. It's insane. Like, at no point have I been inspired to spend any money at all. It's crazy. So it's still been free. I've been enjoying hundreds of hours of gameplay for nothing, for free. It's great. So, yay. The other thing that happened this week was I finished Jusant, which, you know, it wasn't a long game, so I expected to finish it. I did finish it. I did think that I had finished it, but then there was like another chapter after that, and I was like, oh, okay, there's like one more climb, and then you get to the top, and then it's over. I enjoyed it. It's a really fascinating world to explore. But the controls, as I mentioned last episode, the controls are not great. They're better than that Karen game where like you had to control the legs as well. But even here, just controlling the hands and trying to climb, sometimes super intuitive, works great. Most of the time, it's super awkward. And you have to like, you can't quite reach that handhold, so I would jump and you basically bypass it and go to the next one after that, and then continue climbing. But towards the end, there's this one climb at the very end of the tower where the wind is against you, so you can't jump because the wind will blow you back down. And you also can't jump because you're going to run out of stamina, because that uses up a lot of stamina, which for the most part of the game, you have plenty of stamina to play with, so you could do a couple of jumps and then climb, and then you get somewhere safe and you can restore your stamina, no problem. But here, you had to climb all the way to the top, and it took me like a half a dozen tries. It was getting really frustrating, and I was like, am I not going to be able to complete this game? Because I'm trying to climb and you can't jump, so I'm trying to just climb, but he won't. I'm like mashing the triggers, and he's just like, and he wasn't going anywhere, and I was like, oh my god, the controls are killing me. And when I did finally make it to the very top, I was almost out of stamina. And that's just from regular climbing with no jumping. So I was like, you can't. It was so hard. And I fell so many times because I would just run out of stamina because he wouldn't actually move his arms and grab new handholds. And it was really frustrating. But for the most part, the controls are just a little annoying. That was the only part where the controls were like, oh my god, I might not be able to finish this game because these controls are so terrible. But I did finish it, and I did like it. I don't know, it's hard to recommend because the controls are a little hinky. It was free with PlayStation Plus at some point, so if you have it in your PlayStation Plus library, it's enjoyable enough. And if you find the controls too annoying, you can just quit and delete it, and you didn't spend any money on it. I don't know what they're charging for it now. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for it, but it's very pretty. It's an interesting world to explore. And most of the exploration is kind of fun to do. It's just the controls are not great because climbing games are just not great, the controls. So when I finished that, I thought, okay, now what can I try? Another indie game? And then I thought, oh, I should like play something that I spent money on, you know, because there's all the games that came with PlayStation Plus. And there's nothing going on in any of the sales right now that I'm like, oh, I want to play that. And I remembered that I had bought Saints Row 4 Reelected for the Switch like years ago and never played it. It was on sale for like $3. And I don't know why it was $3. It's a full open world action adventure game for $3. And I was like, okay, I'll get that. Because Nintendo never has good sales. Like right now, they're like, oh, we're having our cyber sale. And I looked to see what it was. And there's a couple of games in there that I'm like, oh, I would like to play that. Oh, but instead of being, $60, it's only $50. Or instead of $50, it's only $40. And they just don't, Nintendo just never seems to do those big sales like you get with Sony, where like a game will be $70 and then it'll like, after like 5 or 6 months, it'll go down to like $35. You get it for half off. and if you wait like a year or so, you can get you can go in there and find like older games for like $20, you know, or less, 15 even. Like they go really low, you know, for like older games. After, I mean, I'm saying older, I mean like a year or two. So it's like, it's crazy, but Nintendo never does that. So to see a game on like a real game that I don't know what it costs regularly, like, you know, $40 or something, to be $3, I'm just like, that's insanely cheap. So I bought it, and then I just never played it, and it just sat there. And so I'm like, all right, let me go and at least play it for $3 worth of enjoyment. It starts out kind of insane. There's like, I don't know, I didn't play 1, 2, or 3, but it's clearly like picking up with these characters that you're meant to know who they all are, and I don't know because I didn't play the other games. But then like after like an initial like introduction that like teaches you the controls, I was like, okay, fine. And then they kind of hooked me with the moment where like you jump on top of a nuclear missile that's shooting off into, and you have to like climb up the nuclear missile and dismantle it so that it doesn't destroy the country, all while Aerosmith is playing, and that made me laugh. And then suddenly you're you create your character after that, and I chose Nolan North as my voice because you could have like there's a couple male and a couple female voices, and then Nolan North. So I was like, well, of course I'm going to pick Nolan North. And then you're the president, and then the aliens attack, and then you try to fight back, and then you wake up in this weird like 50s Americana thing, and it's a simulation like the Matrix, but then that goes away, and then you're in like proper modern city, but it's still a simulation. But you also end up, because it's a simulation, you can kind of game the simulation, and you end up with like superpowers, so you can like practically fly, you can like jump really far, and you can climb up walls, and you know, all this stuff. You can run faster than a car, and like that's all I've got so far. I'm sure there's other powers. I can shoot freeze blast now. But it's all very over the top. I've never played the Saints Row games before, but it's basically like, if you thought that the Grand Theft Auto games were over the top, this basically is like, hold my beer. It's filthy. It's so rated M. Like everyone curses up a storm. It's just raunchy, and it's just, I like it because it's entertaining, because it's poking fun at the game genre itself while you're playing that genre. So it's all very self-referential, and it's all very amusing. I don't know how much I'm going to play of it. Right now, the city it's nighttime, and I'm like, I hope that at some point it becomes day so I can see what is going on around me. I mean, it's an older game that got ported to the Switch, so it's like the graphics aren't fantastic, you know, they're not like modern. It's not a remaster exactly, so it doesn't look great, but it plays fine, except for the aiming controls, which are not great, and I ended up like actually using the motion controls because it's almost easier to go like this with my Switch portably, so that I can aim. But it's, you know, using the thumbstick, it just wasn't fast, and I bumped it all the way to 100, and it still wasn't quite responsive enough. But also the city is like huge, but it's like, it doesn't inspire me to explore it, you know, and I like open worlds where I want to explore it. This is kind of ugly, so I don't really want to explore it. It's not like I'm looking forward to seeing what this neighborhood would look like. Also, there's like enemies everywhere, which also kind of defeats the freedom of exploration because you're constantly fighting enemies. But I've only just begun, and I think that I'm still in like the tutorial section because I'm still getting powers and learning how to upgrade things and whatever. And I don't feel like I've reached the point where the game is like, okay, now you are free to explore and do all of these side quests and whatever you want and have fun and go crazy. I mean, I feel like I've already gotten $3 worth of enjoyment out of it, but I'll probably still keep playing it for a bit. We'll see what happens. I am playing a lot more Infinity Nikki right now, so I haven't played it in a couple of days, but who knows? come back next time and see what I've been playing. Maybe more of that, maybe something different. Who knows? You'll have to come back and find out. Bye!